Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be putting together days 24 and 25 and wrapping up my December daily album for 2023. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so we just finished up day 23 and I'm going to put together 24 and 25. So what I had in my album for foundation pages was just this pocket here. And what I had put aside for Christmas Eve was this card that says, "And to all a good night." And I wanted to include vellum that says "gather." So I made a note because it was too big to put in the album. So let me just find that. That's this. So my thought is I'm gonna cut out the word "gather" and use that. So what I wanted to do for Christmas Eve was I had printed this large photo of the food that I cooked. For me, Christmas Eve is a lot about the food. That's my big tradition. I think I actually wanted to go this direction. And so I will crop these down and make a full page spread here with the word "gather" across. And then I want to add this with my journaling, and I'm thinking I'm gonna either do it as like a slit that you pull out or maybe a flip out. I'm not entirely sure yet. But that's what day 24 is going to be. And I already typed my journaling. And then day 25, so my album's getting chunky. And Christmas wasn't like, to me, I really like the season, but the actual Christmas day isn't that big of a deal for me. So I wanted to just go simple. And so I printed a photo of my coffee from that morning with all the presents ready. And I have this that says Christmas. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use that, but I wanted to make just a plain white page with a column in the middle. This is 3 inches across, this is 3 inches across, and some quick little journaling here that is 3 inches across to make like a strip of things. And I will put 25 on here somewhere and wrap it up. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and start getting these pages together. Oh, I just want one more thing. There was this shiny 2023 sticker in the advent calendar, and I wanted to try to use that on probably the last page. I also had this tag that said 2023. I don't know that I'm gonna have a place to use it in here, so I probably will throw this in my Project Life album while I'm wrapping up that album and put it maybe in the last page so that the year isn't wasted. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on fast forward. Okay, at this point, I was really ready to just kind of be done with this album. I had a very clear vision for what I wanted to do for Christmas Eve. So I set about setting this page up. So the first step was just to crop out these two photos. They are printed 8 1/4 by 7 inches. And I just did that in Photoshop. I created the photo. I cropped the photo to 14 across by 8 1/4 tall, which is what you can see with it like that across the spread. And then I printed each half separately so that I could print them on 8 1/2 by 11 paper. My next step was to cut the word "gather" out of the vellum. I don't think there was a straight "gather" across the middle. I think that it said like "ather" and then a G, because the G from the first "gather" was cropped off. But that's okay because I'm cutting them all out separately and I'm just going to put them in the correct order. And cutting them out did take a while. I did cut out part of that video of me cutting out some of these letters because I did kind of get off of the screen a little bit. But I'm just fussy cutting around them, leaving a little bit of vellum so you can see all the gold outline. And then the thought is it's going to say GAT on the left and HER on the right. Next, I'm going to adhere day 23 to the back of the first half of day 24 and punch the holes, or I guess I'm punching the holes first. And to punch the holes, I just clip the two pages together, and then I'm going to make sure that the holes line up, and that way the clip will hold it in place when I'm punching. I guess I decided not to adhere it yet because at this point in time, I wasn't sure if I was going to stitch these letters down with my sewing machine, which is something I do like to do often, but I ultimately decided against it here because I was worried that the stitching would mess up the photo. And what I'm going to do on the right-hand side, I'm unsure if the stitching would have gotten in the way. So what I'm going to do on here is add a pocket for my journaling. So here's my journaling. And I just put a sticky note over the top of the journaling just to keep it private, even though there isn't really anything that private in there. But anyways, I'm just adhering it to the back of this card that says, "And to all a good night," which is really good for, 'twas the night before Christmas, so Christmas Eve. And whenever there's sentiments on things with that, or whenever that sentiment is on December daily products, I always like to try to use it on Christmas Eve. So I added one of the tabs from the kit, and then I'm wanting to pick out a number 24. I ended up going with this black 24, and I put it to the right of the gather because it felt like it wasn't super centered to me because the G is so large. And then I just wanted to add something, so I added one of the sticker strips. Those strips, that die of those stickers is like one of my favorites. And I hope that those show up in things outside of December Daily because I love them so much. So then my plan is to create a pocket. And so what I'm going to do, as you saw, I just kind of traced it on the back there. And I'm just cropping a slit from the top left to right of where that card fits through. And I was just testing to make sure it fits. And then I have a piece of white cardstock that's going to be on the back. This is going to hold day 25. So before I create my pocket, I'm going to put together day 25 because it's easier to just work on a piece of flat cardstock that's not adhered down. Like I said in my intro, day 25 was super simple. I'm just kind of creating a stacked row of this vellum card that says Christmas over and over again, and the photo of my mug and a little bit of journaling. And I was trying to decide how I wanted this lined up, and I felt like it needed something. So I went through my pattern papers and I ended up picking out this red striped one to create a background to hold my strip of embellishments or photos and everything. So I just cut this down so it's slightly wider than all of my images. My images are all 3 inches across, so I think this was like 3.5 or maybe 3.25, and I adhered it down. And then because this vellum, if you put that just directly on top of the diagonal stripe, you wouldn't really be able to read the Christmas. I'm adhering white cardstock down and then adhering this to the top of it so that it's no longer translucent. And then I'm going to do my photo. And then the next thing is another piece of this Christmas vellum on some more white cardstock. And then I have my journaling that I believe my journaling is going to go next. And then the last thing was another piece of vellum, but I wanted something else and it felt like it wasn't quite wide enough. So I decided to go back to these stickers that I love so much. And I picked one out that is red so that it will match with everything that's on here. And I'm just going to crop it down so that it's 3 inches across so that it will fit right here on this column. And then I just stick that down and then add that last piece that says Christmas. Day 25 is super, super simple. So I just had it like that for now. And then I wanted to include the 2023. So I'm putting this sticker on top of the center right by my photo. And honestly, I don't know that I love the sticker on there, but I really just wanted to use it because it is dated. And so I wouldn't be able to use it in another year. To create the pocket, what I'm doing is I'm taking red line tape and I'm going to make a border around where the card would fit. So you can see it's going on the 3 sides here where the card is going to slip into the pocket and then across the top above the slit. And that is going to leave a spot where it is not adhered down. That is the shape and size of my slip-in pocket. I added rolling adhesive to the rest of the page because I do want these pages to stick together, and then I'm just having to pull up the red line tape, which sometimes that stuff is quite a pain and difficult to get off. And then all I'm going to do is line up my white cardstock on the back and adhere them down. So everywhere that was in that rectangle shape that's inside of the red line tape is not adhered together. So it's creating a pocket where I can go ahead and slide this card right in. Before I did that, my journaling on the back didn't take up the entire thing, so I ended up adding a vellum star and another one of those stickers that I love. I do like this to fill up the back of this, but because the star is not totally flush, it does make it a little bit harder to slip in and out of the pocket. So I feel like you probably shouldn't do that when doing one of these pockets. You probably should have it be totally smooth and flat. So next time that I do that, I will remember that lesson. So now I'm just trimming these and making sure everything fits and getting the holes punched and then getting this in the album. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I really was ready to be done with this project by these days. I wanted so badly to finish this project and have it done and on my YouTube this year, rather than doing it next September. However, I feel like I lost steam and a lot of you guys have lost steam for this project. So I'm not going to share a full flip through until next September, and next year I might consider adding or sharing the last pieces of putting my album together in the following season, just so that in the new year I can move on to another project. I love December Daily so much. I'm so happy with how this album turned out, but I really am ready to move on to this project this year more than in other years. And I think that's because I did so much prep work in September with the blog feature I had on Ali Edwards. And so I really worked on this project for quite a few months since September. So it is now the new year and I'm ready to move on. The last thing I had to do here was finish my sampler page here, and I will be sharing a photo of the completed sampler page on Instagram with a few more thoughts on it. I absolutely love how it came out. For day 25, I just added some stripes from some of the scraps that I had used on that day. And day 24 was a scrap of the vellum that said the Gather vellum. It's just a piece of the A that just kind of looks like a triangle, but I do love the nod to the page. Thank you guys so much for being here. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.